Hey, welcome to the Copywriting Basics course with me, Emma Jane. Let's cover what this course is all about and what you can expect to learn. This is a short course that is packed with content to get you up to speed fast, but it's delivered with a light touch. So it's not heavy-handed or jam-packed intense. This means that it's full of easily digestible content. And it's really for those who don't want to be bogged down by too many details, as this can be quite overwhelming. The mindset to have here with this course is that 80% is enough to get you started. So you're still getting the full amount of content and information that you need to get up and going and up and running as a copywriter, or even if you just want to understand what copywriting is about and how to write for your business. 80% is really good enough to kickstart your brand and your business and get it going, and that's exactly what the Copywriting Basics course will help you do. Why would you need this course? Well, this course is designed to help you learn the basics to get you off on the right foot. You're going to learn how to write to engage your audience and get yourself noticed. With this course, you're going to understand how to easily create well-structured and organized content. And as I said, you are going to discover all the basics to really get you going. There's no overcomplicated lingo or steps. This is just a really easy to follow guide that will give your business the kickstart that it needs. Or if you're just someone that's wanting to learn what copywriting is all about, this is going to get you up and going with all the basics, and you're not going to feel overwhelmed by all this information. You're really getting everything you need to get started. You may be wondering, is this course the right one for me? Well, this course is perfect for entrepreneurs, small businesses, startups, and just really anyone in between. That also includes anyone who wants to learn how to be a copywriter and the basics to get into it and get started. Perhaps you want to make it your career and you want to find out if it's the right thing for you. And so discovering all the basics and the fundamentals of it will help you get an understanding of what you can expect. So it's really perfect if you're starting up a business and you can't or don't want to pay for copywriting services up front, or maybe this is your side hustle and you need to know how to write awesome copy fast. All this course is really just for anyone who wants to get the A to Z's of copywriting in a quick and easy way to get them started and achieve a strong online presence. So a little bit about me. I am an Australian living in France, and I've been a copywriter and content creator for almost 10 years now. I've helped many clients from around the world establish a strong online presence and build their brand through high quality, effective, and really punchy copy. What really sets my copy apart is my ability to truly connect with the target audience. Now I am really passionate about sharing my secrets with others so they can start themselves off on the best foot and maybe even fall in love with it along the way. So how does the Copywriting Basics course work? Well, it's split up into 4 modules and 2 spotlight sections. The 4 modules are as follows. Module 1, Brand Voice. Module 2, Adapt. Module 3, Research. And Module 4, Write. As well as these 4 modules, there are the 2 spotlight sections, as mentioned. And I've named these spotlight sections because we're going to be putting these sections essentially under a spotlight by really honing in on the information and going deeper into what's involved with implementing them as a copywriter. The 2 spotlight sections are the first, landing pages, and the second, writing with AI. So the first spotlight section is for landing pages. In this section, I will be covering the 6 most common types of landing pages that you need to know as a beginner copywriter. The spotlight section on writing with AI is probably one of the most important parts of this entire Copywriting Basics course. Now, I say it is one of the most important because it is just a simple fact that AI has really taken over a lot of the copywriting and digital marketing industry in general. It has grown exponentially and it continues to grow. And if you aren't using it or at least knowing about how it works, then you are immediately behind your competitors. Whether we like it or not, AI is having a major impact on the industry. and you need to learn how to adapt to it and work with it. So with the Writing with AI Spotlight section, you are going to discover how to use AI to your advantage, rather than to let it completely take over. A lot of people do make the mistake of letting AI run rampant and create whole paragraphs of content, but the key is to use it for content ideas, and that is what you are going to learn about in this course. You are going to find out the secret to using AI for copywriting, which, I'll give you a hint, is about knowing how to ask it the right questions. I will not only show you how to ask it the right questions, but also how to actually structure these questions so that it gives you exactly what you want. Because at the end of the day, no matter what AI can do, we still have the power as humans because we tell it what to do. We tell it what we want from it. And it's no different in copywriting. So this is where the secret to writing with AI really lies. Knowing how to ask it the right questions. And that is what is going to make you stand out against your competitors. By knowing the basics, you will be able to get AI to do exactly what you want so that it produces more specific and niche content ideas. With the Writing with AI Spotlight section, you will also find out the benefits of using AI for copywriting, things you need to be careful of before you use it, and how to actually use AI, in particular ChatGPT, to make things easier for you. So I will actually be going through and showing you the platform and the interface and showing you how to use it. And you will also discover my top tips that you need to know before using AI to help you use it and write with it in an easier way and to help you feel more confident about it. I have designed this course in a way that you can either go through each module and spotlight section chronologically, or you can go from one module or spotlight section to the other to pick up on things that you might have missed. Basically, you're able to go back at any point in time and get the exact information you need. Let's now jump straight into Module 1, Brand Voice. See you there. Hi there, Emma Jane here. Let's have a quick chat about how you can get the most out of this course. I want to cover this because as a short course, some people may feel that there is a lot of information in a short amount of time. So here are some top tips on what you can do to essentially get your money's worth and make sure that everything you're learning can really sink in and become useful when you write. In terms of taking notes, you can go about this in a couple of ways. You could either download the free resource, print it out and take notes straight on each page beside my content. Or you can take your own notes on your own pieces of paper or notepad of my tips and other key information you find useful. To give you a heads up, my tips will display like this in a white and green box. Just make sure you're pausing these sections especially and noting these tips down. Make sure you pause this course whenever you need. So feel free to pause to read at your own pace and take those notes. I just really want you to do anything that makes you feel comfortable and confident to take in the information, so just make sure you're pausing at any time. And once you finish this course and it's time to write copy on your own, feel free to have the Copywriting Basics course playing side by side so you can refer to it while you work. This will help you visualize everything you need when using my content and tips to write. Remember that this is a short course, so there is a lot of information in a smaller space. That just means that you can take your time and go at your own pace. I'm really repeating these things a lot here because I want to really drive home that you can go at your own pace. There are no rules here. Also remember that you can navigate the modules based on your needs. So as you probably saw in the intro, you can go through this course chronologically with the modules, or you can go back and forth between them. It's designed in a way that you can do either option. Now that you know how you can get the most out of this course, let's jump straight into the modules. See you there. Module 1, Brand Voice. Let's first talk about why your brand voice is so important, why it's such an integral part of copywriting. Well, your brand voice actually makes the biggest impact on your copy. It shapes your copy into what it is. Here you want to think of copywriting as bespoke. It's really not a one-size-fits-all type of thing. And your copy should always reflect who you are, what you are all about, what your business is about. And this could be something even just as simple as the type of language you use, such as colloquial or formal language. But of course, we'll get into all of that in this module. Your brand voice sets the tone for every bit of copy on your social media, etc., everything. One of the biggest reasons why your brand voice is so important to copywriting is that people are most interested in your brand and what you're selling when they can truly connect with you and what you're all about. Even if you don't actually reveal who you are as a person, as in, this is me, my name, I've created this brand, you can still connect with your audience through your copy by really establishing your values and your mission and making sure that all of that comes through in your writing. There are three main elements that make up your brand voice, and it's these three elements that are going to help you unlock your brand, which then helps you make copy that really converts. These three elements are emotional connection, storytelling, and defining your brand identity. We're going to take a deep dive into these three elements, but let's just have a look at a quick summary of what they're all about. Emotional connection. Now, this isn't always necessary in every little bit of your copy, but it is one of the most powerful ways, if not the most powerful ways, to connect with your audience and pull them in. Storytelling in your copy gives your audience the opportunity to really envision themselves using or interacting with your product or service. Defining your brand identity not only helps you gain a better understanding of what you're selling, but actually why you are selling it. And it's this that will help shape your copy to make it more relevant to the audience that you're targeting. Now let's take a deeper look at each element and how they affect your copy. First up, emotional connection. This is really all about capturing attention and gaining the trust of your audience. Getting personal through emotional connection is a great way to gain that attention, but as I said, you don't always have to go this route. It is really powerful, but don't think that you have to use it in every little bit of your copy. Let's say you're just writing a quick social media caption. You don't always have to do it, but it really is helpful in drawing people in. One of the best ways to establish an emotional connection is through appealing to your audience's pain points. So these are things that frustrate them. Then once you've done that, you reveal in your copy how your product or service helps to alleviate those frustrations. By doing that, your audience is then able to really envision themselves with your product or service, and that leads us into the next element of your brand voice, storytelling. Storytelling is all about putting yourself in your customer's shoes. So ask yourself, how does my product or service give my customer something that they need or want? One of the best ways to nail storytelling in your copywriting is through creating a few potential scenarios within your copy. So these scenarios could be real life scenarios or dream situations that you know your customer is longing for. And then this target customer can feel that they will achieve that dream by using your product or service. Let's look at one of my examples here to help you yourself envision what it looks like to storytell in your copy. So let's say you're selling some candles and you need to write about how they smell like the ocean in a product description for your website. So rather than simply just saying this candle smells like the ocean, you can think about really setting the scene and describe the salty sea air by a hotel on the coast of the Mediterranean. As a result, your target customer, the person reading this on your website, can truly envision themselves and see themselves in this dreamy Mediterranean landscape thanks to your candle. Now, while of course there could be some people out there who already want an ocean-scented candle, and they will probably buy it anyway regardless of your copy, you have to consider the people out there who are not looking for an ocean-scented candle, Perhaps they want a pear-scented candle. So what you want to do is really think about these people who aren't too convinced yet that they want an ocean-scented candle. And by positioning themselves in this way of helping them envision this beautiful story that you've created, they can then think, oh wow, if I get this candle, I can have my home smell like the ocean and imagine I'm in a Mediterranean landscape all day, every day. And most likely that will lead to click add to cart button. And that is why storytelling is so important in your copy. And through storytelling, you are communicating to your target audience that this is your brand, this is what you are all about. And if they love it, they will just keep on coming back for more. Defining your brand identity. So this is all about defining who you are and what makes you stand out against your competitors. Your brand identity helps customers understand what your business is actually selling. And in turn, this helps them better connect with your brand, therefore making it more likely that they would purchase from you because they trust you and you've established a sense of authority to them. First and foremost though, defining your brand identity gives you a real clear understanding of what you're about and how you stand out from your competitors. You can then use this information to build really strong copy. To help you define your own brand identity, let's take a look at one of my examples. Now, there are many ways you can define your brand identity and really dig deep into what it's all about. However, as this is a short course and you're trying to get up to speed fast, there are actually only 4 things that you need to answer to get a really broad idea of what your brand identity is about, and therefore use that to shape your copy and get started. So these 4 questions are: what is my brand purpose? What are my brand values? What personality does my brand have? And what is my brand voice? So let's take a look at this example. Let's say you're opening a flower shop in your local community and you want to establish an online presence. Here's how you may answer these questions. So, what is my brand purpose? This flower shop has answered that they want to provide people inside and outside my community with unique, contemporary and beautiful flower arrangements for all occasions, specializing in weddings and other large events. My services are fast and convenient. So you really don't need to put much in here, just a couple of sentences, and you've already established the purpose of your brand. Next up, what are my brand values? This flower shop has listed creativity, uniqueness, and sophistication as their brand values. Once again, you don't have to do much, 3 or 4 dot points, and you've got your values right there. What personality does my brand have? So here you can use a celebrity to help you really establish what that personality is of your brand. What do people see when they see your brand come up? This flower shop, if someone walks past it, they want people to think of someone like Helen Mirren, very sophisticated, and the traits here are considered, intuitive, and approachable. And lastly, what is my brand voice? Within this question, there are actually 4 categories you can use to help you discover your brand voice, and they're on a bit of a spectrum, and so you can find your brand voice in between some of these. You don't have to do just the first dot point or the last one. So they are formal versus casual, funny versus serious, respectful versus irreverent, and enthusiastic versus matter of fact. So this flower shop has said, since my flower shop is more high-end in a wealthy area, my brand voice is somewhere in the middle between formal and casual. So you see they've gone in the middle, they haven't gone one extreme or the other. You can do the extremes, but you can definitely also find somewhere in the middle. With a little seriousness, my brand is sophisticated, but I still want a touch of casual to keep the vibe friendly, warm, and welcoming. So now that this flower shop has defined their brand identity, they can now use this information to build their copy, and that copy will correspond with their purpose, values, personality, and voice. You've reached the end of Module 1, Brand Voice. Let's jump straight into Module 2, Adapt. Module 2, Adapt. This module is all about adapting to different styles, and you're going to learn how to write for different contexts. So this means you're writing differently depending on whether you're writing a blog or an advertisement and so on. And this mainly includes the way that you actually structure the content. Here we'll be looking at the main types of copy to focus on from the beginning of your copywriting journey. These are the basics that you need to know, and of course there are others, but these are the best ones to get you off on the right foot. Of course we're going to deep dive into all of these, but let's just take a look at a quick snapshot summary of each one. So for each context there are 3 main things to focus on and that we'll be really jumping into. First up, we have blogs. So the 3 main things to focus on here with blogs include keywords, that you're keeping it informative, and that the general structure you should have for each blog is that you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Ads. Your ads should generally be short form, but we will get into that later. Your ads should be punchy and make an impact in the shortest amount of time, and they should have a really strong CTA. Social media descriptions should grab the attention of your audience. They can be a little bit more fun than some other copy channels, and you should have a balanced amount of CTAs. Product descriptions. The 3 main things to focus on here include that you should be doing a lot of storytelling here. Your product descriptions should be very clean and clear, and they should be benefit solution focused. Email marketing. Your emails should nurture your customers through a journey. You can do a lot of storytelling here to really keep their attention, and you should have really clear CTAs. Quick note, just popping in here for anyone who doesn't know what a CTA is. A CTA is a call to action, and I actually go into a deep dive on CTAs in Module 4 Writing. So if you're unsure about that, jump ahead and go find out what that's all about before you continue with this module. Now let's take a further look into each of these copy channels and how you need to adapt your copy. Blogs are wildly powerful and very important in terms of boosting your online presence. And actually a lot of clients that I've worked with before don't realize just how important blogs are to not only the overall presence and feel and vibe of your website when people come and visit it, but also in terms of SEO. Google uses your blogs to determine whether your website is legitimate, and that will in turn determine whether they will push your website to the top of the first page when someone searches something related to your business and that blog. Now I'll run you through my top tips for knowing how to adapt your copy to blogs. First up, informative blogs are really the way to go if you want to grab Google's attention. And Google actually recommends, this comes straight from their website, that you should use the following best practices: uniqueness, verifiability, and global reach. Now in terms of global reach, of course, not in all cases you can't always appeal to everyone in the whole wide world, but that's just letting you know that your copy should be easy to read, not too complicated, and something that your target audience can enjoy and get something out of and find value. It's all about giving value to your potential customers and making sure that you're providing really helpful content. Next up, truly understand what your audience will be getting out of reading your blog. So will they learn something new? Will it answer one of their questions? Keep that in mind as you're writing it, and that will help you make it really useful. Research your competitors. This is such an important one, and it's actually quite an underrated way of writing blogs. You know, we think, oh, we shouldn't look at the competition, I don't want to copy them. But it's not about copying them, it's about seeing what's working. One of my best tips for researching your competitors when writing blogs is to first come up with the topic of your blog and the title. Even if you just have the topic, it's okay. And write that into Google and have a look at what the 3 highest ranking blogs are on the first page. Click on those, read through each of them, and see what your competitors are doing. Perhaps they're using a lot shorter paragraphs, they've separated it in a certain way, they used numbers or dot points, and this will really help you to shape your copy and see what's working, see what people are liking. Next up, consider writing an evergreen blog. So this just means that your blog can be read by anyone at any point in time in the future. The reason this is important is because it helps your blog consistently perform well, no matter what time it is in the future. Of course, there are some ways that you can't get around this in terms of topics, but as much as you can, try to avoid any particular dates or anything that really makes the blog feel outdated and that it's not relevant to someone at some point in the future. In terms of the structure of your blog, it should include the following: an eye-catching title. So you don't want to clickbait here, but you still want to keep it interesting. So think about, why would someone click on this? You should certainly create an introduction, and within this introduction you want to describe what the blog is about, and you actually do want to reveal what you're going to talk about, but you don't have to go into too much detail, and that helps people to be encouraged to read more about it. The reason why you want to include what you're talking about in the blog is that Google doesn't like when it's too mysterious and you're not giving the customers what they want straight away. So don't make it too obvious, but still give a glimpse into what you're talking about and what they will discover in your blog. Subheadings are very important. So if you're using, let's say, Microsoft Word, you'll notice the H2, H2H for so on subheadings. You definitely want to include these, and some of these should also include your keyword within them. Not all of them, but at least a few of them should include the keyword. This helps Google realize that you're separating your content, you're making it easy to read, and that it's throughout the entire blog, it's still relevant to the topic you're talking about. Dot points and bolded words. This is such an easy but effective way to make your blog easy to read. You know, not everyone wants to sit through and read through a 1,000-word blog. A lot of people just want to skim through it. And if you've made it easier for them to read, they'll like that. And perhaps they'll be more interested in what you're about, they'll like your style, and they'll want to discover more about your brand. This is related to dot points and bolded words, but short paragraphs are also really important to help break up the blog and make it easier to read and skim through. Top tip, you should include a heading, let's say like a H2 or H2H4, every 300 words, or even less if you want. But every 300 words is a really good starting point for you, so you know that you're making it nice and simple and easy to read. A conclusion is a great way to just wrap the blog up in a nice little bow. Not all blogs I've seen have it, but I think it's important as you're just summarizing everything you've spoken about, and you just also want to reiterate how you've answered a query or question on the topic that the blog is about. And the reader will just feel that it's finished off nicely and, oh yeah, I've gotten that from this blog, and they'll feel more satisfied. Lastly, you should definitely include images with alt text. Now, not only do images break up the blog as well and make it easier to skim through, but they also help you for SEO purposes. Think about when someone Googles a topic. Some people actually like to click on the images. If they're visual people, they'll look through that. And if your blog has images with alt text that relate to that topic, they'll pop up in the Google image search as well. And that's essentially two places where they can click on your blog, hence more traffic and more attention. Let's take a look at learning how to adapt to ads. So I'm going to talk about social media ads and Google ads, as these are the two main ones you want to focus on when you're just starting up your online presence. One of the biggest differences between the two is that social media ads are generally more emotionally driven and informative, whereas Google ads are more straight to the point. And while both rely on keywords, you'll want to be more conscious of how you're structuring those keywords when you're writing Google ads. So we'll get into that, but first up, let's talk about social media ads. My first tip for social media ads is to stick to your brand voice. So make sure the tone and the words that you use sound like you. Sound like your brand and your business. This ensures that you're attracting the audience that you want, as they'll relate to what your brand is really about. Next tip, short and sweet is really the way to go. These ads should really be as short as possible, sometimes even just a few words if you can, and emojis are also really important. Just think about how quickly everyone scrolls through their feeds. You want to grab their attention straight away, and the best way to do that is with a few really punchy few words. Now, long form social media ads are, of course, a possibility. And I actually do recommend doing a couple of long form ads if you're doing some testing, as you want to see what works best. But most of the time, in my experience, short form ads are the way to go. Next, appeal to people's emotions. So connect with them by using you language and think of it as if you're having a real conversation or discussion with them. Use evocative words to grab attention. So make people feel like they're discovering something exclusive. And one of the best ways to do that is to use buzzwords. Buzzwords can include things like cutting edge or next generation or brand new. Those kinds of things really grab people's attention straight away. Try using ellipses at the end of the sentences, as this adds a little bit of suspense. Remove any fluff and get straight to the point. Let's say you've written out your ad 1, 2, 3, 4 times and it's still just feeling a bit heavy and it's just not making that impact that you want. Really try and dissect it and see what you can take out of it. Remove that fluff, and that will just make it a lot more clean and concise and easier to read, therefore attracting more people. One of the easiest ways to grab attention is to try including a question at the beginning. That can instantly draw them in and they'll feel that they want to answer that question. Therefore, they'll keep reading and really take a look at what your ad is trying to communicate. Make sure your CTA is strong and clear. So you want to foster interest and don't be too mysterious here with social media ads. For example, some of the best CTAs that worked are just find out more or learn more, sign up now, those sorts of things. They're just making it clear that whatever they're clicking on, they're getting that. It's not too mysterious and they don't have to guess what they're getting out of it. This isn't exactly writing, but really think about pairing your amazing copy with amazing visuals. And actually videos are shown a lot of the time to work best, but of course a really impactful photo can do just as well. Communicate straight away what benefit or solution your product or service provides. People don't always want to read through and try to understand themselves what your ad is trying to communicate. They want you to tell them what you're giving them and what they're getting out of it. Now let's take a look at Google Ads. My first tip is to think about, as you're writing, what would make you click on the ad that you're writing? What would you search for in the Google search bar? What would attract you? You want to make it quite specific here. Google wants your ads to be, and this comes straight from them again, they want your ads to be specific, relevant, attractive, and empowering. So just write those down on a post-it note and keep those in mind as you're writing your copy. Within your Google Ads, one of the best practices is to showcase what makes you competitive. So that could be something like free shipping or the fact that you have lots of variety. When writing Google Ads, you want to empower your audience to buy what you're selling by using a strong and clear CTA so that they know the next steps. They know what to do from here. And some of the best CTAs to use for Google Ads include call now, join now, discover, browse, and anything with the word get in it is shown to perform really well. Don't forget those keywords. So you want to make sure that there are at least 2 keywords based on your topic and don't repeat them more than 3 times. That comes straight from Google as well. Make sure that your ad matches to your corresponding landing page. So this builds a lot of trust with your audience, and one of the best ways to do this is simply just use the same tone of voice and the same keywords as what was shown in the ad. Think about how your ads look on mobile. So in terms of copy, this just means using words that you know will make a bigger impact in a smaller amount of space. So be very mindful of that when you're writing. Lastly, again, this comes straight from Google themselves. Always steer clear of the following when you're writing. Don't include any exclamation marks, ellipses, emojis, and symbols. Also, don't capitalize an entire word. Google doesn't like that. And if you're ever unsure of anything, just simply request a review and Google can take a look at it before you make the ad live. Social media descriptions. This is where you can have a little bit more fun than some of the other copy channels out there. Social media is just a lot more relaxed. So even if your brand voice is more serious and sort of has a strictly professional type of vibe to it, Don't be afraid to still appeal to people's emotions and grab the attention of your intended audience. Think about the reason why a lot of people use social media. Generally, they're relaxing and trying to get away from the world, so have a bit of fun with it. Most of the time, users are attracted to posts based on their visual element, but you have to remember that the description of the post is their second point of contact. So they go there to find out more about what the visuals was telling them. This gives you the opportunity to really pull them in and encourage them to take action. Think of your descriptions as really audience building. So you're trying to build and grow your audience to gain a following, which eventually leads to more sales as there's more people and more traffic. Of course, that all depends also on your content and how well it's performing, but at the end of the day, it's just trying to build and grow your audience. That's what social media is all about, building a presence. Now I'll run you through my top tips on adapting to social media descriptions. First up, try putting your audience first as much as possible. And one of the best ways to do this is by using a lot of you language. How does this make you feel? Tag your friends. Language like that is what makes a really big impact. Write relatable and interesting content that you know people will want to share with others. That's how you gain a presence. Have a think about why you share posts, reels, videos, or anything with your loved ones on social media. Let's say you love dogs and you share a funny dog video with your friend. At the crux of it, you're essentially sharing it because it's defining your identity in some way or another. And this is what helps you feel connected with others. So really think about that when you're creating content on your social media. Is your social content shareable? Of course, you're not going to appeal to everyone, but if you focus on your target audience and what you know they will enjoy, remember that they're sharing it because it's defining their identity, and that's why you want to make your content relevant and shareable. Keep your social media descriptions super simple. So if you think about it, not a lot of people want to sit there and read through a lot of words and a lot of paragraphs. However, if you do want to do long form posts, then just make sure that they're easy to read and separated into paragraphs. I know sometimes it's not always easy to avoid long form posts, and sometimes they can actually be very useful in telling a story, but just remember that most of the time people won't read through the entire thing, so try and keep it short for the best impact. CTAs in your social media descriptions should be few and far between. So don't bombard your audience with a bunch of CTAs in every single post. This will just make you come across as pushy and really sales driven, and in turn that makes you look less authentic, and no one wants that. Just find a balance with your CTAs. So for example, you can include a CTA in every second post or every third post. And when you are including CTAs, just make sure that you're switching things up every so often. So don't say link in bio every single time. Maybe say head to my bio or check out my bio. Simple switches like that can really show your audience that you care about what you're giving them and you care about making it interesting for them. And in relation to CTAs, make some of them a little more mysterious to invoke curiosity. As I said, with social media, you can have a bit more fun here. So that also means you can make your CTAs a little more mysterious than you may in other copy channels. So let's say you just wrote a blog and you're trying to promote it in a post on Instagram. You can reveal a few details, but don't reveal everything. Imply that they have to go to your bio and read your blog to learn everything that they need to know. Product descriptions. Here we'll be talking about product descriptions for e-commerce websites in particular, not specific marketplaces such as Amazon or Etsy, as these can have other requirements. One of the main things to remember with product descriptions is that you are writing for your customers, not an algorithm. So while you still have to follow certain steps to make sure that Google pushes your product descriptions on your website, you want to remember your customers here. It's not just an algorithm. Try do some storytelling. As you learned in Module 1, storytelling is what really helps your customers envision how they can incorporate your product or service into their life. It's all about giving them a visual, and this makes them more likely to buy your product or service. Another extremely important part of product descriptions is to keep your features heavily benefit focused and solution focused. So this means that your descriptions need to focus on how your product or service solves something for your customer or how it benefits them, brings value to their lives. While you want to get personal with storytelling and really show them how your product benefits them, you also need to be clean and clear with what the product actually is. So let's take a look at my best tips to understand how to adapt to product descriptions. So let's say you're selling a portable air conditioner and you need to write the product descriptions for your website. Instead of listing out the features, write about how these features benefit the customer. So let's take a look at what this looks like. The first feature you want to list is that the air conditioner has wheels, hence why it's portable. Instead of simply saying on the first dot point, wheels, here's what you can say. Wheels for smooth movement between rooms for cooling in every space. So in this sentence, you've just provided your potential customer, your target audience, with 3 benefits. You've communicated with them that this portable air conditioner has wheels. So tick, awesome, wheels, that's great, that makes it portable. Smooth movement between rooms. So now they're thinking, okay, this air conditioner moves smoothly so I don't have to break my back trying to move it around. That's awesome, tick. And then for cooling in every space. Now they're thinking every single room in my home can be cooled. I can move it around and my entire home can be cool. The next feature is the wireless remote. So again, instead of just saying wireless remote, you can say wireless remote for easy controls at a distance. So now they're thinking, oh, this benefits me because I can control this portable air conditioner from my couch or my bed. I don't even have to get up. How easy is that? And lastly, rotating fan blades. So instead of just saying rotating fan blades, you say to cool you down faster. So now they're thinking, okay, that's benefiting me. That brings value to me because I'm going to cool down faster than if I just opened my windows. So just by adding these words, you can see how much benefit you've shown to the customer. You've shown them how much value this air conditioner brings to their life. And of course, in a lot of cases, people just want an air conditioner anyway. But think about, they've probably got 5 different tabs open on their phone or their laptop trying to choose between air conditioners. Well, if you've got features listed out like that, really showing them, helping them envision how this air conditioner is benefiting them, they'll be more likely to click on that one. The next tip is to ask yourself these 3 things while writing your product descriptions. First up, does this help my customer? Secondly, how can these product features help my customers' daily life? So you want to relate it to their daily life. Think of someone from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed. How is this product helping them in that routine, that daily routine? And thirdly, how is this product giving value to my customer? And using these 3 questions can really help you to build out those features and those benefits. And the last tip, you should have at least 1 main keyword to help with SEO. And you should include this keyword once in the product title. So if you're selling white sneakers, make sure that white sneakers is in the product title, and a few times in the description. This just shows Google that you're really clear about what you're selling and it's not mysterious, and whoever's looking for white sneakers, now Google knows exactly what you're selling and they'll push that to those potential customers. Email marketing. Since emails aren't within any social channels nor on your website, you can think of it as a more private, personalized way to connect and communicate with your audience. A lot of it is about nurturing your customers to stay loyal to you, loyal to your business and your brand. The fun thing about emails is that the opportunities with them are truly endless. You can think of it as a form of educating your customers about what you're all about and who you are. Here are a few of my favorite ways to use emails that you can use too. First up is you could create a new email list through a landing page for a free incentive or a freebie that will proceed to take them to a welcome email sequence that's nurturing them, and it tells them more about your brand, why they should purchase from you, what value you bring to the table, and where they can buy your products or services. Another great way you can use emails is to re-engage customers that haven't purchased from you in a while. Another way is to keep your customers updated with new and exciting products, as well as exclusive discounts for email subscribers only. This helps make them feel really special. Another great way is to give your customers interesting facts and insights and information related to your products and services. This essentially just shows that you are actually passionate about what you're selling, and this in turn gives you a greater sense of authority, making it more likely that people will feel that they want to purchase from you. Now let's take a look at my top tips for adapting to emails. First up, storytelling is very important for email marketing. Think of it as if you're taking your customers along a journey. You can have a lot of fun with your emails or keep it formal. Emails are just so easy to adapt to any kind of style. My next tip is that generally it's a good idea to keep things short. Not everyone wants to take time out of their day reading really long emails. So just remember that you can still storytell with less copy, but just be more meaningful about the words that you choose. Make them more impactful in this shorter amount of space. Use dot points and bolded words to break things up and make it much easier for your customers to read. Don't forget about that subject line and make it really strong to pull them in. There's also a preview line that's just below the subject line, and you can make this one a little more straightforward and less mysterious and as if it's a glimpse into the email. Just below, I've listed some really powerful subject line ideas, and they're based off of 4 categories. These are fear-based, curiosity-based, pain point-based, and personal-based. As it implies, fear-based subject lines are appealing to people's fears. So here are the examples. You're missing out. You've got one day to see this. Get it now before it's gone. Today only. It's all about making them a bit fearful that they're going to miss out. Curiosity-based, these subject lines are appealing to people's curiosity. So you're invoking that curiosity. These 5 things will blow your mind. Are you doing this? And they'll think, oh, am I doing that? I don't know what it is yet, but am I doing it? These are really powerful ways to pull them in. Pain point based, you are appealing to their pain points. Even if you say, who has time for this? They don't know yet what you're talking about, but they'll think, I don't know, who has time for that? I want to see who does have time for that. It might seem a little ridiculous, but when you really think about it, that picks at our brain and we think, oh, I want to know more about that. And personal based. This can be something simple as including their first name, or I want to tell you a secret, the exclusivity of it. This one is really great at making an impact by showing that you are caring about them as a person. You're making it personal. My final tip for adapting to email marketing is that you should have a clear CTA established before you even start writing the email. So think about, why are you sending out that email? Are you trying to get more sales? Do you want to tell them that you've written a new blog, or perhaps that you've come out with a new product? No matter what you're writing about, you should always have a clear CTA and put it in the beginning, sometimes in the middle, and definitely at the end. This makes it easy for your customers to know where that email is taking them and what the purpose of it is. You don't have to be pushy here, just gently guiding them to where you want them to go and making it clear. Now that you know how to adapt your copywriting to different contexts, let's jump into research. With the 5 previous contexts in mind, I'd like to also include a bonus context that you should know, and that is about landing pages. Now, I could talk about landing pages for hours, which is why this is essentially in a separate part, as it will be a little longer than the others. But for now, I'll show you the exact fundamentals you need to know to get started with landing pages. So what exactly is a landing page? Well, it is a standalone page on your website. So after clicking on a CTA from, let's say, an email or an advertisement, the person is then taken to a specific landing page. And the aim of a landing page is to drive traffic and increase conversions. There are many types of landing pages, but here are some of the most common that you should know. First up, I'll talk about a squeeze page and a lead capture page. A squeeze page is used to collect email addresses by using some sort of incentive. So for example, spin the wheel to get your prize, enter your email to get the free guide, or enter your email to go in the running for a gift card, etc. A lead capture page is similar, but you request more information such as name, job title, industry, and so on. The information you ask for a lead capture page really depends on the end goals that you have for that page. You can then start nurturing those leads by sending relevant content and other promotional offers. So they've now essentially become your subscribers. This is a very common marketing tactic. Also make sure that they can opt out from your emails at any time, as otherwise you can come across as too sales driven and pushy, which people often don't like. Let's look at a couple of examples of a squeeze page and a lead capture page. First up, for the squeeze page, here is one from B School. So as you can see here, it's a fairly simple page. It just has a headline at the top: B School enrollment opens February 2020. They're just being really clean and clear here as to what this landing page is about. Then below that, they're telling you a little bit more about what you can get out of this landing page. So to learn more and be notified of our next enrollment period, enter your name and email below. And then it's just asking for your name and email. And the CTA here is get instant access. This is also an example of a great use of a CTA, as they're not just saying, sign me up, they're saying get instant access. So when someone clicks on that, they'll know exactly what they're getting. They're getting instant access. And that instant access to knowing about the enrollment period, that is the incentive that this business is using for people to give their name and email address. So now people know that by simply giving their name and email quickly, takes a couple of seconds, they're going to get instant access to something that they want, which is knowing about the next enrollment period. This is another example of a squeeze page. It gives a little more information than the B School one. This one's from Shave Kit, but it's still only asking for the first name and the email. And again, their CTA button is a little different than just sign up. It's get your first shave kit. So with your squeeze pages, you can give a little more information, but you're still only asking for that name and email. Here they've also included some customer reviews, so testimonials to show their credibility, and a frequently asked question, which can really just help to buffer that purchase decision. Quite often people don't go ahead and purchase something or give their information because they have questions. And by showing that they're answering one of the most frequently asked questions, it's just giving the customers more comfort in what they're purchasing and the information that they're giving to this brand. Here is an example of a lead capture landing page. So this one is to download a white paper. It's about protecting your data, intellectual property, and brand from cyber attacks. So as you can see, it's different from the squeeze page because it's asking for a lot more information here. It's asking for the first name, last name, email address, company name, even the country, phone number, and employee size. So of course you don't have to ask for this many elements, but as you can see, the lead capture page is just essentially capturing more information than just a name and an email. Next up, a click-through landing page. This is about pushing your value to your consumer before they sign up to anything or give their information. And this kind of landing page often looks like a page that describes your product or service and its benefits, with a CTA button encouraging that person to take action. For example, sign up for 30 days. Once that person clicks on the button, they're taken to a different landing page where they can view something like payment information and then sign up right away. So here you're really priming them before you give them a gentle push to sign up. So you can think of the click-through landing page as a little similar to a squeeze page or a lead capture page, but as I said, you are priming them and getting them ready so that they don't feel obliged right away to give that information. A lot of people don't want to feel pressured like that, so a click-through landing page just gives them a softer nudge towards eventually signing up. They get the information first and everything they want, and then they click through and can provide the information. So here's a great example of a click-through landing page from Dropbox Business. And so at the top, you can see the first page, and it's quite simple. It's almost like a squeeze page. It's just giving the bold headline at the top, work better, safer together, and then giving you a little bit more information. So Dropbox Business simplifies your work with a central place to access and share files. So from that information, someone could be interested by what they're offering, and they might not necessarily want to sign up straight away. So for that reason, they would click on the try free for 30 days, which will take them to the below page. And here you can see that it's asking for a lot more information. So this way, the customer will feel that they aren't being pushed straight away to sign up. They have clicked on the try free for 30 days button to see where it will take them, and it's taken them to a page with a little more information on the left here with the dot points, and then the opportunity to sign up if they want. But it's not pushing them straight away on the first page, give these details. And you'll probably also notice that next to the CTA button, try free for 30 days, there is another CTA which is purchase now. While this may seem like it's targeting the people who would go ahead and purchase now without the free 30-day trial, which isn't very common. Of course, there are some people out there who would go straight ahead, but a lot of people will take that free trial. It's there to pretty much remind the customer that there is that free 30-day trial. It may seem obvious if you just put the free for 30 days and people think, oh wow, okay, that's a trial. But when you position it next to something that directly juxtaposes it, so you can purchase it right now and skip that free 30-day trial, they'll rethink it and realize how much of an incentive this free trial is. It's basically a reminder that they're getting it free for 30 days rather than needing to purchase straight away. So this is a really smart tactic to gently push people towards that free trial. The next type of landing pages are unsubscribe pages, error 404 pages, and coming soon pages. These types of landing pages are pretty straight to the point, but you can do a little more with them. So for an unsubscribe landing page, you could ask people to fill out a quick survey or form as to why they are unsubscribing. And this gives you the opportunity to gain feedback and change things up. You could also even provide a last chance type of offer as an incentive for them to stay subscribed. Topshop have an excellent unsubscribe landing page. Here, the first thing that the customer will see is it really over? So they're really drawing them in and making them question what they're doing. Then they proceed to explain the benefits of being subscribed to Topshop. So are you sure you want to unsubscribe completely? There are loads of benefits to being subscribed to Topshop emails, from previewing the last collections to a treat on your birthday. Then they even give them an option to tell them what they're interested in, so then Topshop knows to keep them updated on only what they want to know. And at this point, the customer is probably thinking, okay, well, if I can just be sent this particular thing or these two things and not be bombarded by all these emails, it's worth staying, so I'll stay. So Topshop isn't being too pushy, they're not begging them to stay, they're essentially putting everything into the customer's hands. Then at the bottom, if the customer is really sure that they want to unsubscribe, they give that option, and they're not pushy. They say, we don't want to spam you, so if you really want to unsubscribe, just tick the box below. So that's showing that they care about not looking pushy, and they want the customer to feel comfortable and do whatever they want. As you can see, this is just a lot more interesting than if you were to just put unsubscribe me or just not even put anything on the page and just let them unsubscribe straight away. You're giving them options, and that's going to be better for you in the long run, because most likely they would choose to stay subscribed for a couple of things that they'd be interested in. Now let's go back to the types of landing pages, and we'll chat about error 404 pages. So you can actually have a lot of fun with an error 404 page, and you can even make it humorous to distract the customer. So you could guide them to your homepage, your blog, or a sign-up page, and you just want to let them know that they can contact you to find exactly what they're looking for if it's not in any of the other things that you've offered. So I've got a few examples of some really good error 404 pages you can get inspired by. First up is MailChimp. Straight away, the big headline is, "We lost this page." So really, they're putting the blame on themselves. They're really thinking about the customer who is most likely feeling frustrated that whatever link they've clicked on has not been found on the website. So instantly they're putting the blame on themselves, which will calm down the customer. Then below that they've said, "We searched high and low but couldn't find what you're looking for. Let's find a better place for you to go." And this page is just offering to go straight to the MailChimp home. Now, a good idea would have been to also guide them to a contact us page, but they haven't decided to do that. That's okay. They've just sent them straight to the home page, and the customer can research for what they were looking for from there. But they're not just ignoring the customer and giving them nowhere to go. They are offering for them to go to the home page, take them straight there in one click, and help them find what they were looking for. And as you can see, this isn't related to the copy, but this is paired with a funny picture of a horse. I think it's a horse or maybe a donkey, I don't know what it is, but with his head in a hole. And it's just a cute and funny way to show that MailChimp has lost the page and they're looking for it. So this just adds to that humorous tone and helps the customer feel a little more relaxed about not having found what they were looking for. Another great example is Disney's Error 404 page, which is related to Ralph Breaks the Internet, I'm pretty sure it's called. And it just has in big bold letters 404, and underneath it, "You didn't break the internet, but we can't find what you're looking for." And again, another character from the movie is offering to help the customer find what they're looking for. So this one, instead of sending them to the home page, they're giving them the option to search some keywords of what they're looking for, and then the website will guide them to some potential options related to what they were trying to search. And the last Error 404 page example is this one from BigCommerce, and this one gives a lot more options for where they can guide the customer. So first up, in big bold letters, "Lost in cyberspace," and this relates to the image on the right with the astronaut floating in space. And so then they say, "It looks like that page doesn't exist. Please check the URL and try again." Then they give you a CTA to explore the site again. And then beneath that, they've offered a few other options to guide the customer. They've offered to learn about our features, see examples of stores, read success stories, and a contact us button. So this Error 404 page makes a big impact because it's able to guide the customer to different areas to help them learn more about the website and not give up on their website. A lot of the time, if we're led to an Error 404 page, we sort of feel a bit fed up, and depending on why we're on that website or why we're exploring that brand, some of the time we'll just give up and click away. But if you're giving all these options, then they most likely won't click off and they'll keep going through your website and maybe even contact you. And back again to the types of landing pages. The third one is the coming soon landing page. You can make your coming soon landing page more interesting and appealing by teasing an offer and displaying the launch date of your website. Plus, you could set up a section where people can add their email to be notified when you launch. For an example of a coming soon landing page, I've chosen this one from Happy Camper because it's a little different than a lot of the coming soon pages I've seen. And that's because the countdown to the launch of the website is almost hidden at the top. As you can see up at the top in the orange bar, it says 87 days, 2 hours, 4 minutes, 50 seconds, and then coming soon on the left. So you actually don't immediately know how many days are coming until this website is going to be launched. But what they've focused on here is giving the customer an incentive to help them stick around and be excited for the opening of the website. So you can see in big letters, camping kits for first-time campers curated by lifelong campers. And then below that, win a free camping kit. Now personally, I would have put the win a free camping kit CTA button a little bigger so that people can really see that that's the incentive here. But this is still a very impactful coming soon landing page, a lot more interesting than a lot of others out there because they're giving more than just announcing the launch. They can communicate to the target audience that they should be getting excited about this brand. You know, these are camping kits for first-time campers curated by people who care about camping, who are passionate about camping. And on top of that, you have the opportunity to win something that's related to camping. And by clicking on that win a free camping kit button, that would take them to probably a squeeze page or maybe even a lead capture page to get their email, and then they would become your subscriber. They're using this coming soon landing page for leads that will help build their brand and their presence. A long form landing page. These are pretty much the opposite of squeeze landing pages, as a long form page is exactly that, long form. So think of your long form landing page like a sales funnel where you're taking your consumer along a journey. You're answering any possible question that they may have, and you're relinquishing any doubt that they may have about your product or service. As they scroll through this landing page, provide them with as much information as possible. And you must include a CTA throughout it. Definitely at the beginning, also include it in the middle, and definitely at the end as well. So here are some examples of long-form landing pages. This first one is from ExpressVPN. The first thing you see when you arrive on this long-form landing page is the VPN that just works. So they're immediately communicating with the customer that this just works. It's simple, it's clean, and it's easy to understand. Then they've got a little bit more information under that. Exclusive offer, get extra 3 months free. Try ExpressVPN with 0 risk today. And then in a big green button, the CTA, start your risk-free trial. Then as we scroll down, they're giving more information about what this business is offering. So blazing fast speeds, powerful online security, works on all platforms. It's still keeping things quite simple and clean, but as you can see as you're scrolling, you're just getting more information about what this is all about. Then in this section, in big bold letters, they're communicating with the customer that their services are secure, so secure access worldwide. And you'll see again they have a CTA here to encourage the consumer and just also give them the opportunity to get ExpressVPN. Because if you think about it, when you're scrolling through, you aren't necessarily going to scroll all the way back up to get it. So that's why you're including these CTAs throughout the long form landing page. Again, they're just giving more information, just one click to a safer internet, use ExpressVPN on every device, and again, there's that CTA, get ExpressVPN. Here in this section, once again, they're giving more information about what this business is offering. And you'll also notice there is a much smaller CTA, which is see more advantages. This one is presented as smaller because they're really wanting the incentive here to be that you get ExpressVPN, but they're showing that they're giving you that option to see all of the advantages if you're interested. I love that they're using a lot of graphic imagery here to draw attention and make it interesting as you're scrolling through. There's colors and the imagery is just really fun to look at. Here they're communicating their authority. They're letting the customer know that they have ultra-fast servers in 94 countries. So the consumer will feel comfortable in the fact that this business is present in many countries. And as you can see once more, another CTA. This one is also smaller, but it's letting the consumer know that they can see their full list of VPN server locations to get more information about this brand. This section is really important for any long form landing page. You should always try and include a testimonial section. Here, ExpressVPN has presented it as what people are saying about ExpressVPN. So they're showing authority and credibility. They're showing that they've got great ratings on Trustpilot and the App Store. You can even look at reviews, tweets, and media quotes. So with this, you're helping your consumer feel more comfortable and confident in doing business with you. So by showing testimonials, you're communicating with your consumer that they can feel comfortable and confident in buying what you're selling. They'll be thinking, oh, if all of these people are really satisfied with this product or service, then I feel that I can trust those opinions, those so many positive opinions, and I can get that same experience. Then as you scroll down, there are yet again some CTAs. Here they're really clear, and the first one is about contacting support. This is about, as I said earlier, relinquishing that doubt and about answering any questions that customers might have that hold them back from buying what you're selling. So here they've displayed their support as live 24-hour. Then underneath they express that their customer service provides real support from real people. We're available through instant live chat and email to help you set up and troubleshoot. So they're giving customers different options to help get their questions answered. And on the right, yet again, they are encouraging the consumer to go all the way and get ExpressVPN. With that, they're communicating one of their incentives, which is 30-day money-back guarantee. So they're really communicating with the customer that their VPN is easy to use and there's no hassle, no risk. Again, this just makes the customer feel comfortable in what they're purchasing. So as you can see, ExpressVPN has really taken you along a journey. They've pretty much told you everything you need to know about the brand before you go ahead and purchase. And within that, they've offered you different options to learn more about the services they're offering. Here's another example of a long form landing page. This one is from Wix. So the first thing you can see straight up is that they are the leader in website creation. That is what they are trying to communicate with you. And as you can see, first up, the big blue button, which is their CTA, Start Now. So while some people might just go ahead and press the Start Now button because they're ready, others might not know yet or trust yet that they want to invest their time and their money in Wix. So let's start scrolling. As you can see, they've used really bright and interesting imagery again. And this website is actually a lot of fun because its imagery directly relates to what you're doing by scrolling. It's showing like a waterfall that's flowing down. So as you're scrolling, you are literally going on a journey. It just gives more of a visual, and if you were scrolling through, you'd probably want to know what the next image will be. That's not directly related to the copy, but it does pair really well with the whole idea of a sales funnel and taking people through a scrolling journey. So the next section is once again very simple, clean, and quite punchy. So they're saying straight up, stunning templates. And then a little more information, choose from over 500 designer-made templates for every business. So perhaps that would straight away interest someone and they'll just press start now. Or someone might not be too convinced and they'll want to keep scrolling. So the next information they provided is that you can drag and drop. So you can change, customize, or add anything to your site. Once again, this could easily attract someone and they could press start now, or again, they might need a little more convincing. The next section, they're communicating to you that your website can be mobile friendly. So your website can look amazing on every screen with a mobile friendly version. And so that you don't have to scroll up or down, you can just press start now straight away. The next part of their service that they're communicating is that they can give you custom domains. So you can get a personalized domain name that matches your brand and business. And with that, we've reached the end of the waterfall. And here they have just made big, bold, and clear. you can make your ideas come to life with a Wix site. And once again, the same CTA start now. So this one is quite different from the ExpressVPN one. That's why I chose these two together, as they just show that you don't have to do a long form landing page in one particular way. While you should generally follow the same structure, so of course it's long form and you scroll through and it's a funnel, you can choose to express what you're offering in different ways. Some people may think that the Wix landing page is a little risky, as there are no different types of CTAs, it's the same kind, and while there is more information, it is a little limited. But that's also what makes it stand out. It's quite image heavy, and that can really draw a lot of people in. They'll enjoy that imagery, and that helps with scrolling through and deciding to start now or not. With a lot shorter headlines and sentences, you can actually draw people in more than if you were using a lot longer paragraphs and headlines. But at the end of the day, it's really up to you which one you choose to do with your long form landing pages. The next type of landing page is a thank you landing page. So when someone downloads something or signs up, don't waste the opportunity to thank them and include some additional information and any other offers that you can give them. This keeps your consumer engaged, and it really just shows them that you're putting effort into your brand. So I've got a couple of examples of thank you landing pages to show you. This first one is really clean and simple. At the top, it's letting them know that they're thanking them and that we have a special gift for you. Then in big bold letters, get 50% off. Underneath that, here's your coupon code, but hurry, it expires in 24 hours. And they've given them a discount that they can use as a special thank you gift. While you don't always have to give gifts when you say thank you or discounts, this is a good way to draw people in and encourage them to go shop on your website and explore what you have to offer. Think about this compared to just a random page that just says thank you. Thank you for signing up, or thank you for downloading the guide. It's just not making the same impact as giving the consumer something else. You're showing them that you care about them and you're grateful for interacting with your business. This next example is actually one of my favorites for thank you landing pages. It's not giving the customer a discount or anything like that, but it's still encouraging them to interact with the brand. So they're saying, thank you for downloading our guide. Congratulations on starting your journey towards a toxic-free life. So they're showing the customer what they're getting out of downloading the free guide. And then below that, they are giving them the option to interact with the brand further by liking and sharing them on social media, and also giving them the option to explore more of the website. And they've got a fun CTA there, which is let's go, which is a lot more interesting than just go to the website or homepage. So with this type of thank you landing page, you're just keeping your consumer engaged. And as I said before, you're really just showing them that you're putting effort into your brand. You want them to explore what you're all about. The final most common type of landing page is a paid ad landing page. This is a page that people land on after clicking on one of your advertisements. Most of the time, you're not trying to generate sales necessarily, but more so you're trying to generate leads from your advertisements. And most often, a landing page from an ad can look like a squeeze page, where you get people to enter their email to get a free offer or sign up to something. So here's an example of a paid ad landing page from Slack. The ad was promoting Slack as an instant messaging platform. And once someone clicks on it, it will take them to this landing page, which is in itself a squeeze landing page. So they're telling you straight away, Slack is where you access the messages, the files, the decisions, the key moments in the life of your business. It's where work happens. And just quite simply, they've put there, try Slack for free. And all you have to do is put in your email address. You don't even have to put in your name. And get started is the CTA here. So as you can see, from clicking on the ad, Slack is trying to generate leads. They're going to use this email address for marketing purposes. The consumer will land in their subscriber list, and that is considered a lead. not necessarily a sale, especially because it's letting them try Slack for free. So a paid ad landing page is a great way to generate those leads and get that subscriber list flowing. I recommend trying out a couple of different styles and then seeing which one gets the most engagement. Now that we've gone through the most common types of landing pages, let's look at some of my top tips to help you create your own. The first tip: make your landing pages easy to read with bullet points, bolded words, subheadings, and media like images or videos. As you've seen in a lot of the examples, most of them are quite image heavy and they really pay attention to the colors that they're using and the font and the amount of words written and everything like that. Much like when you're writing a blog or an email, the bullet points and bolded words and subheadings really help to break up all of that copy and make it easier for people to understand. And generally, they will be then less likely to click off. It's all about keeping them engaged. The next tip: don't forget a strong, enticing headline that grabs attention and immediately lets your customer know what they're getting out of the landing page. So essentially reminding them why they clicked on it in the first place. Use words such as free or now or get. These are really impactful. The next tip: display your call to action straight away to remind your customer where you want them to go. Even if it's a long form landing page, you still want to establish to your consumer what they're getting out of the page straight away. Also, don't be afraid to repeat that CTA. As you've seen in the examples, especially the Wix one, they've repeated the CTA all throughout that landing page. You don't have to go that far, but definitely on your landing pages you want to make the CTA clear. And if it's a long form one where they have to scroll through, you want to put that CTA in the middle at various points to give them the option to click on it and proceed to the next step. Otherwise, they most likely won't be interested in scrolling up or down. I know it might seem a little silly, but if you think about it, a lot of us have short attention spans and we don't want to go back to where we came from to find out what we were looking for. If it's there right in front of us straight away, we'll usually click on it rather than having to scroll all the way back up and find where it was. The next tip: think about providing testimonials on your landing pages. This is an easy way to immediately show your consumer that you're credible. So if you remember, we saw the testimonials on the ExpressVPN long form landing page and the Shave Kit Squeeze landing page. This is showing to the customer that they can trust in what you're selling and that it's credible and it's worth their money and their time. And the final tip: test out multiple variations of your landing pages to see which ones perform best. This way you can really optimize your landing page to help it then continuously perform well. Now you've got all the fundamentals you need to create those landing pages with confidence and make them impactful. Now that you've got all the basics you need, you can get things going and create impactful landing pages with confidence. You now know how to write the most common and fundamental landing pages you need when either starting up your business or if you're in the process of trying to grow and boost your business with more impactful copy. Now let's head into Module 3, which is all about research and why it's so important in your copywriting. Module 3, Research. First, let's chat about why you need research in the first place. How does it relate to copywriting? Research is actually your secret tool to getting noticed amongst competitors. It may seem obvious, but many people actually forget just how important research is to creating effective copy. The reason behind that is that research helps you understand what you're up against, and that helps you adjust your copy to stand out and get yourself seen. Research gives you a chance to see what kind of content works. So of course this doesn't mean to copy anyone, it just means to follow a similar route and then make it your own through your individual, unique brand voice. For research, you want to establish a strong process that you can use each time before you write. This just helps you get an easier understanding of certain topics to then create copy that's more relevant and then that truly converts. In summary, research helps you understand how to write copy that stands out against your competitors. Research helps you see what works for others and then follow suit using your own unique brand voice. Research helps you gain a better understanding of your target audience and their wants and needs. Research helps you gain clarity on the benefits solutions of your product or services, and this leads to more targeted copy that more effectively attracts customers so that they can resonate with what you're offering. And finally, research helps you establish authority with credible facts and knowledge about your products or services. So what is this research process that you need for your copywriting? Well, I'm going to help you make your own. And the best way to do this is to understand the three main areas of research. These three areas are going to help you establish your own ultimate research process. The first main area we're going to be looking at is about your competitors. So think about, where are your potential customers already buying from? Or where could they be looking instead of your business? Researching your competitors helps you shine a light on what's working so that you can get yourself seen and create content that puts you well above the rest. The next main area of research is understanding your product or service. Think about how your product or service solves problems. What are its benefits? How does it stand out when compared to your competitors' products? Researching your products or services gives you a better understanding, a deeper understanding, which then helps you create more unique copy. And the final main area you need to be researching is your audience. Think about who would buy your product or service. Even consider, how old are they? What are their hobbies? Researching your target audience helps you write copy that is more relevant to them, helping them relate more to what you're selling. Now, as usual, let's take a deeper look into these three main areas so that you can create your own research process. Research your competitors. Instead of viewing your competitors in a negative light, you're going to use them to your advantage. Think about it. They've already had to figure out what works the hard way, while you don't have to. By using them, you can find out what's working and grabbing the most attention so that you can start doing the same thing. Now, of course, be wary here. I am not telling you in any way to copy your competitors directly. Instead, you're just going to gain inspiration from them and adapt it to your personal brand. While you may be a part of a niche that other businesses are a part of, don't forget that you are a one of a kind. Use that to your advantage and really lean into your brand voice. At the end of the day, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You don't want to be having a nervous breakdown trying to find and discover new content that's never been seen before. Go with the trends, but make them your own by incorporating your own unique brand voice, your brand message, your brand values. Think about it in comparison to, let's say, TikTok or Instagram niches or trends. Everyone will do the same trend, say like the same dance or the same filter, the same joke, but because it's their own personality, it's their own selves, people still enjoy it, people still laugh at it. So think of your copy in the same way. You're taking inspiration from your competitors as that's what works, that's what people find interesting, but you're making your own because it's your own brand voice, values, and message. So in summary, researching your competitors is about diving deeper into why your competitors are doing what they're doing and why it works. To help you better understand how to research your competitors and make this a part of your research process, let's look at one of my examples. Let's say you've created an art framing business where you sell custom frames for artwork. So you need some inspiration for website copy, but you don't even know where to start. Here's how you can do it. And it's a lot easier than what you might think. So the first thing you're going to do is head to Google and type in the search bar, best art framing business. Then click on the first result, and you notice that they're using a lot of short form copy to describe each art frame. You also notice that they mention the materials, sustainability, and color options. So those are clearly important aspects that they're mentioning. Now you're going to think about why this is working. Well, here it seems to be working because short form copy makes it easier to read. And they're mentioning the most important things that artists who would want to be framing their art would want to know right away without needing to look any further. So using this information for your website, you are then going to write short form copy to make it easier for artists that visit your website for them to read. And you're going to mention important specs right away up front. Since you are adapting the content to your own materials, your own sustainability practices, your own color options, etc., not your competitors, you're not copying your content word for word from your competitor. You're more so just getting inspiration for the structure and the basis of the content, and that's exactly what you need. The next part of your research process is to research your product or service. I'm just going to be saying product here for the rest of this, as it will just be easier. So even if you already know a lot about your product, you still need to do the research to develop a much deeper, hardier understanding. The reason for that is that it just makes your copy a lot more authentic, and this allows your customers a greater insight into your product, making them more inclined to purchase in the end. If they don't know anything about what your product is about, they won't like that mystery. They want to know where they're putting their money. To help you understand how to research your product, let's take a look at one of my examples. Let's say you are selling wristbands, wrist towels, and headbands for skincare routines as part of your business. Here's how you may answer these questions when researching your product. So these three main questions are: how is my product different from competitor products? How does my customer benefit from my product? And finally, how does my product solve my customers' problems? So these three questions will really help with your research process and helping you get a much better understanding of what your product is actually providing to your customers, why they would want to buy it. So this is how this business has answered these questions. How is my product different from competitor products? My wristbands come in bright, fun colors. They are ultra plush and they're available on their own or in a set. They can also get a free wash bag product with their first purchase. So they've just listed everything that sets them apart from other companies. And while, of course, there might be similarities to some other companies, these are the main points that bring value to this product and make people want to buy it rather than another one. How does my customer benefit from my product? This business has said when wearing the wristbands, customers stay dry and comfortable because water isn't running down their arms or onto the sink. This makes their skincare routine easier, faster, and more enjoyable so they can take better care of their skin. This means they can expand their routine and invest more in skincare. So the customer is benefiting in many ways by using this product. They're benefiting by staying dry and comfortable. Their skincare routine is now easier, faster, and more enjoyable. They can now take better care of their skin, and this means they can expand their routine if they want. How does my product solve my customers' problems? So for this business, my wristbands prevent soggy sleeves and a dirty sink. It also saves my customers time in the morning and keeps them motivated to do their routine at night. So now that this business has really done intense research into what their product is, how it's serving a purpose, they can then use this information and have endless copy to work from to create content on any channel that they want. So here are some examples. They could give names to the wristband colors and ask on social media which one people most identify with, like create color personalities. They could write blog topics for the website that can include how to wash your face like a pro, best skincare routine tips, how to make your skincare routine easy, loving the skin you're in, etc. Another great piece of content they can do is to talk about how their customers benefit from the wristbands in their product descriptions, rather than just listing the features. So now that they know that the wristbands prevent soggy sleeves and a dirty sink, they can include that in the description. And another way they can use this information is to create an ad describing how to prevent soggy sleeves when washing your face. This can then lead them to a landing page listing all the benefits of the wristbands, including that their routine can now be easier and faster with these wristbands. And the call to action here could be buy a pair, and you're solving that problem. The final step of your ultimate research process is to research your audience. Knowing more about who you're actually trying to sell to helps you create more relevant content. When people feel that their needs are being met, seen, heard, then they're more likely to purchase whatever is helping them get to that point. To help you understand how to research your audience, let's look once again at one of my examples. Let's say you've just come out with a line of portable, environmentally friendly cutlery that comes in a sleek, contemporary travel case designed for corporate workplaces. Here's how you may answer these important questions. And these questions are: who are my customers? Create personas and get detailed with it. Do my customers need or want my product, and why? What are my customers' pain points, desires? How does my product solve these pain points or help them reach these desires? And finally, how does my product bring value to their lives? So here's how this business answered these questions. Who are my customers? Create personas and get detailed with it. They've said one persona is a 35-year-old woman working in an upscale corporate job. She has 2 kids and she's always busy at work and home. She's sick of eating out all the time while working, so she's bringing more food from home, but doesn't want to rely on the cutlery from her work kitchen. So as you can see, they've quite literally created a persona and gone into detail about her life to try and understand how your product relates to them and their life and brings value to their life. Do they need or want my product, and why? So this business has answered, they need my portable cutlery because the cutlery in work kitchens is usually dirty, or there isn't enough to go around. My cutlery gives them the freedom to have their own personal fork, knife, spoon, and metal straw that is uniquely theirs. They also save time washing up in the kitchen because they can wash it at home. What are their pain points, desires? How does my product help solve these pain points or help them reach their desires? So first up, dealing with dirty cutlery in the work kitchen is a huge pain point. The solution is that my cutlery is uniquely theirs and they know that no one else will use it. Here's a desire, wanting to find portable cutlery that comes in a travel case that's appropriate for the workplace. This product is helping them reach that desire because this cutlery comes in a contemporary, sleek travel case that fits in with the corporate environment. And another pain point, sick of using plastic cutlery when eating out because it's not good for the environment. And the solution is my cutlery is eco-friendly, which means they can keep washing and using it forever. Finally, how does my product bring value to their lives? This business has said, my cutlery line adds value to my customers' lives by helping them enjoy their lunchtime at work that little bit more. This makes it easier, cleaner, and more stylish as well. So with this information, this business now has endless content to work from to create their copy for all of their channels. Let's take a look at some ideas. First up, using the personas that they created, they know now that they have to keep the website corporate yet a little light-hearted. So the language there should be quite formal, but still a little lighthearted. This also definitely comes back to your brand voice. That helps you shape how your brand voice is really relating to your target audience. Another idea is that they could write blog topics such as how to be eco-friendly at work, 5 lunch ideas for the busy mum, best on-the-go morning routine, packing your handbag like a pro, etc. These topics are targeted to this particular audience that they've researched, and whoever fits into this persona will be more likely to click on these blogs and discover more about the brand. And another idea, they could create social posts that talk about how portable, lightweight, and sustainable the cutlery sets are and how that makes their lunchtimes easier and more enjoyable. So again, they're just pulling from that content and now they've come up with topics that they could use for these social posts. Now that you know how to create your ultimate research process, let's jump into the final module, Module 4, Write. Module 4, Write. There are 5 main aspects of copywriting in its most basic form, and these are the main areas that you need to focus on when it comes to the writing part of it all. Because after all, it is called copywriting. It's all about the writing in itself. Here I'm going to help you find and create your own writing style using this simple 5-part process. This 5-part process includes word dumping. I know, sounds a bit odd, but don't worry, it will make sense in a bit. Refining, call to action, CTA, bringing it back to your brand, and consistency. Now let's jump into these 5 parts so you can learn how to create your own process, find your style, and be more confident when writing. Word dumping. Writing really isn't as scary as you might think it is. Trust me, I know how intimidating a blank white page staring back at you can seem. And word block is a very tricky thing. But the good news is that there is a solution, and that is word dumping. Sounds strange, I know, but word dumping is the most effective way to write, especially if you are just starting out or you've already tried writing and you find yourself stuck after just the first few lines or even first few words, or you might just not even be able to get it out onto the page. Word dumping is all about letting go of any fears and quite literally dumping out all of your ideas onto the page. You could even whip out the good old pencil and paper and brainstorm using lines, circles, clouds, whatever you need. Anything goes when it comes to word dumping. At its core, word dumping forces you to extrapolate your ideas without any judgment or fear. No one's standing over you looking at what you're doing, and if someone is, then just kindly tell them to move back so you can really let go and be free with what you write. Remember that nothing actually needs to even make sense at this stage. Your sentences, your grammar, and your spelling and everything could be wrong, but it doesn't matter. Think of this as your first draft. What you're writing now isn't going to end up as your copy in its final form. Just keep reminding yourself of that. Here are my best tips for word dumping like a pro. First up, just dump it all out. Let your fears go and just simply get all those words out from your head and onto the page. As I said, no one is going to see this first draft, or make sure that no one sees it. And that just helps you let go of that fear and that anxiety so that whatever comes to mind, remember that you'll edit it later. Just get it out now, edit later. As I said, ignore any spelling or grammar mistakes. This can also be a huge part of that fear and that judgment. So even if your sentences don't make sense, just let it go. This is just about getting out your ideas so that you can refine things later on. And just remember that word dumping is a great way to reduce the risk of writer's block in the first place, because it's allowing your creative juices to just flow. Now that you've got all your ideas quite literally dumped onto the page or several pages, you can now take the next steps to watching it all come together, and that is to refine. Refining. After word dumping, it's now time to refine your copy and narrow things down. If you've created long form copy, you might have gone over your word limit and not noticed, or if you've created short form copy and you need to remove some words out of there to make it even shorter. It's all about refining, making sure that everything is clean, and all types of copy need to be refined, no matter if they're short or long or in between. Refining your copy can look like several things. These can include deleting multiple words or an entire paragraph or several. It could look like general editing, so fixing up those grammatical and spelling areas and making sure that it's readable. Refining could look like changing the structure of your content by shifting certain words or paragraphs. And for blogs in particular, refining could look like something as simple as creating the title, adding subheadings, bolded words, dot point lists, etc. That's just to give you a general idea of what refining can look like, even in the most simplest of forms. If you think about it, refining is essentially about creating first, second, or even third drafts or more of your original copy. Something very important to remember is that refining doesn't always have the same process for each type of copy. For instance, you may edit your social media caption once, while you may need to edit your blog 3 or 4 times. Take your time to read carefully and edit as needed, depending on the context. For refining, there's really only one super important tip that I have to bestow upon you, and that is know when to stop. If you're a bit of a perfectionist like me, have a break, go and take a walk, and come back to your copy with a fresh mind. This will help you see your copy from a new perspective, and there's probably even less stuff to change than what you first thought. One of the best things I've learned is to actually try and read your copy aloud. This will help you see if it actually makes sense when others are reading it. It helps you understand the cadence and the readability of your copy from someone else's perspective. You could also even ask a friend or a colleague or a loved one to read through it, and they might pick up on things that you may have missed. Now that you know how to refine your content, let's have a look at how to incorporate CTAs in your copy. A call to action, or CTA, is a way of prompting your reader to take action. And this is important for gaining conversions, which means taking your customer from one point to the other. A call to action comes in many forms depending on the type of copy. And they're very useful because they encourage your reader to do more than just read. It's encouraging them to actually take action. A call to action is often the form of a button, and once it's clicked on, it takes your customer to a corresponding page. Something to remember is that a CTA should catch your reader's attention straight away and tell them exactly where they are going if they click. So you don't want to be too mysterious in most instances here. So how or why do CTAs even work? Well, as humans, we are trained to follow orders from the minute we are born. And there are a lot of psychological studies around this. And if you think about it, marketing is often heavily linked to human psychological behavior. As an example, let's look at which one of these catches your attention more, or which one you'd be more likely to click on in the moment. Are you ready to shop? Or shop now? I'm going to bet you want to click on the second one, shop now. And that's because it is definitive and authoritative. And that gives you the confidence that when you click on it, you know that it's taking you to somewhere that will benefit you in some way. You are able to shop now at this moment. And that is a benefit to you and what you want. And that's how a call to action works. Here are some key things to consider when choosing a CTA. First up, think obvious, not mysterious. Customers want to know exactly where they're going and what they're getting when they click on a CTA. My second tip, keep it brief. Next, create a sense of urgency. It's a bit like FOMO, fear of missing out. No one wants to miss out, and if you create that sense of urgency, they'll be more likely to click on it to discover what's on the other side. Next, make sure that the CTA stands out. This doesn't just relate to the words that you're using or word, but also in terms of the button. Make it colorful and large if you can on your website. If it's something like a Facebook ad, you can't control that. But if it's your website, make it something that attracts them to clicking on it. Make it easy for them to see. And finally, if regular CTAs are a little boring for you, you can try having fun with the words and see how that works with your audience. So some ideas are, instead of click here, you could try give me more or join the fun. Those make it seem much more fun and interesting than a simple click here. To help you get a better understanding of CTAs, I've created this list, and it's got the types of CTAs with their context on the left, and on the right in pink, it's the type of CTA you may use that best corresponds with this context. So let's run through that. First up, there's an advertisement that encourages your reader to buy your product or service. The type of CTA that would best suit this context would be a shop now button that takes them to your shop page. A landing page that encourages your reader to download a free guide. The best CTA here would be a download now button that takes them to that guide. A blog that informs your reader about your product. The best CTA here would be you would include a link that takes them to your shop page where they can shop that product. Your social media bio includes a link to your website. The best CTA here would be that some social media post descriptions would encourage your reader to find out more at link in bio. So link in bio is that call to action, pushing them to go to your website. Your product descriptions explain the product to encourage a sale. The best CTA here is to include a buy now button that takes them to the checkout page. An email tells your reader about a sale. The best CTA to have here would be to include a shop sale products button in the email. And just on the right here, I've included some great CTAs that you can use that are a little bit more interesting and fun than some regular CTAs. So yes, I want so-and-so. Words such as get, grab, seize, score, gain are really impactful words to use in your CTAs. Start my journey toward so-and-so. Explore now. Activate your, so it could be subscription today. I don't want to miss out. Get your free so-and-so, reserve my spot. So each of these would be on its own button. So say you're holding a webinar, and instead of just saying sign up as the button, it could be reserve my spot. It's clear, it's simple, it's fast, but it's more interesting than just saying sign up. They are saying, oh, I can reserve my spot. I can get my spot exclusively for myself. I'm going to click that. It's more of an incentive than just sign up. Now that you know all about how to use a call to action, let's take a look at how you need to bring everything back to your brand to create strong copy. Bring it back to your brand. Your brand, its personality, its values are what drive everything you do when it comes to your business, or at least they should be driving it all. Your target audience will buy from you because they relate to your brand messaging in some shape or form. And that could even be in the simplest of ways, such as they love your brand colors or the language that you use. Sometimes it doesn't have to be all that deep. While you can't always control whether people relate to your brand or not, if you're always constantly injecting your brand voice into your content, then people are going to notice. While you write, have this at the forefront of your mind. I recommend writing it on a post-it and putting it right on your desk or right at your computer so you see it all the time. Bring it back to my brand. This just reminds you to constantly create content that relates to your brand voice, not someone else's. This makes your content more unique, compelling, and interesting. And this lets you create more relevant content that will attract your target audience. This also makes you appear more authentic, and this is really what customers look for when they're purchasing. And in copywriting, your brand voice comes across through punctuation, word choice, and even the font style. Now let's look at some of my examples on how you can bring everything back to your brand. Let's say you need to create your About Us page for your website, and it's feeling a little blah and a little boring, and you want to make it more interesting so that people can really connect with what your brand is all about. So you can then use your brand voice to add personality and more depth to this About Us page. So you could talk about what's important to you, why you started your business, and also why you're proud and passionate to help people with your products or services. Another example about bringing it back to your brand is that your product descriptions use the same informal or formal language that you've established throughout the rest of your website and social media. This essentially gives consumers confidence that what they see is what they get. Now you know how to bring it back to your brand. Let's have a chat about consistency and why it's so important when copywriting. Consistency is key. Being consistent in your writing is what's going to differentiate you from your competition. Think about it. Would you purchase from a business that changes themselves every few days? You would, in the end, feel like you couldn't trust them, and this makes you feel like you wouldn't want to purchase from them. Consistency is important because it is memorable. As an example, why do you think so many people keep purchasing from Apple year after year? So while they continue updating with the times and trends, they've always kept a consistent brand voice. And this brand voice for Apple is that they're upbeat, conversational, confident, playful, and powerful. And they make sure that comes across in all of their copy. Consistency is important because it establishes an emotional connection. Did you know that appealing to your consumers' feelings is actually shown to be 1.5 times more impactful than appealing to the way that they think? This means that being consistent in your copywriting throughout all channels will help your brand make a greater impact on your target audience, as they'll feel more emotionally connected to the safety and the trustworthiness of your brand. Consistency gives consumers a sense of security. like what they get from having a routine when they know what to expect. So if you're funny and personable on social media, but then you're quite rigid and cold on your website, then people will be left feeling confused and hence view your business as inauthentic. Now let's take a look at my top tips for helping you build and maintain consistency in your copywriting. First up, know your brand voice and know it well. This pretty much guarantees consistency every time because you know who you're writing for and what they expect to see and feel from your brand. Be consistent with your messaging. So do you want them to purchase from you, sign up to your newsletter, interact with you in the comments of a post? So while you can switch it up with your CTAs, try focusing on one essential message at the end of the day. For example, conversions. This will guide your customers in the right direction, leaving them thinking that making a conversion is the right way to go. And my final tip, no matter what kind of content you make an effort to hold it at a high quality standard. Avoid typos and confusing sentences, as consumers can view these mistakes as a reflection of your products or services. Of course, you don't have to be perfect 100% of the time. We're only human. But if you make more and more mistakes, your consumers will think that you don't care about your brand or what you're providing to them, so they most likely wouldn't purchase from you or interact with you anymore. Now with this 5-part process, you can start your own writing process and write with confidence and ease. Once again, like with the landing pages, I'm doing a spotlight section, but this time it's all about writing with AI. I think that we're really at a crucial stage at the moment where, as copywriters, and that includes people who are just starting out to write copy, we should learn and understand at least the basics of writing using AI and how it all works. And as this is a copywriting basics course, this section will be all about how to use AI at a basic level, essentially the fundamentals you need to know going into it. While writing with AI can seem a little intimidating at first, let's try and look at it in the way that we're going to take advantage of it, rather than letting it take over in a sense, because I do know that that's been a concern and will probably continue being a concern for some time. So to alleviate that concern, we're going to use it to our advantage. Let's have a chat about why we should use AI and what exactly are its benefits. So we're looking at it in a positive light here. So in any case, artificial intelligence was created to make things easier for humans, right? From robots that help us clean our house to even something as simple as hopping onto Google Maps and helping us know where to go. AI is all around us, whether we like it or not. So rather than seeing it in a negative light, let's take advantage of it and use it to help us save time and produce content on a faster scale. The key here though, this is really important to remember, is to make sure that you are not letting it compromise the quality of your content. So I'll repeat that, do not let AI compromise the quality of your content. That means that you have to make sure you're being purposeful and careful about how you use AI, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. So here's a quick dot point list of some benefits of using AI to write your copy. The first benefit is that AI provides content ideas instantly, so you can save a lot of time that you would usually spend brainstorming by yourself. Another benefit is that you can easily overcome writer's block in seconds. That is pretty much connected to the first one. AI is really helping you overcome any judgment or doubt you may have on yourself, which leads to writer's block, or just the fact that you just can't think of anything and you're really stuck. It does help you easily overcome that by giving you the ideas without you needing to brainstorm them yourself. Another benefit is that with the speediness of AI, so the fact that it's really fast, you can improve your productivity levels. So quite often we won't even attempt to start writing because we just feel so stuck or intimidated by what to do. And AI takes away that uncertainty and really helps you focus and hone in on what you're trying to do. And lastly, AI can give you a fresh perspective that you may not have thought of before. So you could ask it a question or enter in the content that you need, and it can spit back something that's really fresh and that you really did not think about before. And that can help with, again, tying back to alleviating writer's block and getting through that and not needing to brainstorm all on your own. Now that we've covered the positive side of AI, it's important to make sure you're also considering the negatives of AI, and we're going to talk about that in the next slide. As I've been reiterating quite a bit throughout this course, your brand voice is what makes you stand out in every way. And that is where the tricky part comes in with writing using AI. It's a robot. And no matter what, it will not write with your unique tone of voice that matches your brand. And that's why it's best to use AI as a tool to help you generate content ideas rather than to generate entire paragraphs of content. So I just wanted to preface that as a sort of disclaimer before moving on, that you can use AI as a tool to generate ideas, not create entire pages and pages of content that doesn't contain any of your personal touch or thoughts. And essentially you want to make sure that the information is correct and that it's getting the message across that you want. And you can't do that unless you inject your unique brand voice and tone of voice into the copy. And of course, as we all know, you can really hone in quite well with things like ChatGPT on the tone of voice that you want in your copy. But really, no matter how much you try, you just can't get that exact tone that you want. And as you continue to use it, it can feel quite robotic. So even if you tell it, be witty, be funny, and you give it an example of your previous copy, it won't get that perfect cadence and tone that you need to stand out from your competition. So I'm not saying that you can't use it and tell it what to do and, oh, my brand is funny, but also a little bit serious. You know, you can tell it all of that, but just make sure that you're going back and checking and editing and adding in your little quips and uniqueness to the copy. Don't just copy and paste straight from the AI platform, because it will end up looking and sounding robotic. So here is a list of some things to keep in mind before using AI, and I'm going to focus on ChatGPT here. So these are things that ChatGPT cannot do, at least at this stage. ChatGPT cannot verify content. So a lot of the time the content is not accurate, and it actually can't even tell you if it is accurate or not. So if you ask it, oh, is that information you just provided accurate? Can you verify that for me? It is not able to do that. ChatGPT cannot add backlinks for blogs. So this is very important for your SEO on your website. You need to be adding backlinks to things like your blogs, because Google really likes that when it comes to SEO. So if you ask ChatGPT, hey, can you put in a backlink to that in this section, find a website or a blog to link that, it's not able to do that, so you have to do that yourself. ChatGPT cannot reference any websites that is in connection with something like adding backlinks. ChatGPT cannot write accurate news articles. So as I said, it cannot verify content. And you'll see on its front page that it actually tells you that it hasn't had content updated, as in recent news, since 2021, at least at this stage. So if you're needing to write news articles for your business, it will not be able to do that for you. ChatGPT cannot provide accurate revisions. So it really struggles to improve original pieces of text that you provided it from the beginning. So if you go back and you ask it, hey, can you revise this for me and redo it, it will struggle to do that. So that's something to keep in mind that you will have to do yourself. ChatGPT cannot do anything involved with a web lookup. So for example, if you wanted to cross-check some websites, so you wanted to ask ChatGPT, hey, can you find out what the main keywords are across these several websites because they're your competitors and you want to see what's working for them. If you ask ChatGPT to do that, it's not able to. ChatGPT cannot always provide unbiased content. And this is because its underlying training data may be biased due to its restrictions. ChatGPT cannot always provide the most specific tone of voice that you want. I already spoke about this a bit, but just as an example, it can generate what they consider as funny content or generically funny content, but it's just not very good at humorous or witty content like dry humor, that sort of thing. It can't really provide sophisticated humor. The type of humor that ChatGPT does is quite dumbed down, so it can be very difficult to consistently achieve your brand voice if that's something that you're going for and that your business is all about. So keep that in mind. You'll probably have to go in and edit things and add your own special touch. ChatGPT cannot avoid plagiarism, and it has actually been known to plagiarize some content. So just be very, very careful about that and always check everything after it's created content. So now that we've gotten some of the negatives out of the way, we're going to jump back into the positive side of AI and once again use it to our advantage. And now we're going to explore how to use AI to actually write your copy. This is going to be in 2 parts. And once again, I'm going to be focusing on ChatGPT by OpenAI as it is one of the most popular at the moment. So the first part of this section is talking about what it means to use AI in your copywriting. And then the second part will cover the actual technical side of things to help you understand the fundamentals of how to physically use it. So what does it mean to use AI in your copywriting? Well, knowing how to use AI can actually make the whole process easier for someone who isn't a professional copywriter and who might just be starting up their business and trying to set up all the writing on their website, social media, for their ads, and so on. While of course I'm not saying you have to use it, it is best to know about it and know about the basics rather than to not know about it at all. Once again, the key here is to view it as a tool to help you rather than to do all the writing for you. And that's exactly how you'll make your copy seem more real and more authentic, rather than making it seem obvious that a robot's written it for you in 0.02 seconds. Use AI to generate and inspire ideas to help kickstart your content. And while word dumping is pretty much a bulletproof way to get your ideas out on the page and start writing to prevent writer's block, AI is also a great option if you are just really, really stuck. So let's check out some ways that you can use AI as a tool for content creation. First up, you can use AI to overcome writer's block by asking it to generate ideas for you based on certain topics. And an example of generating these ideas is asking it to create certain blog topics, social media caption ideas, and even landing page structures. So you can ask it to create those for you and they can basically kickstart you and get the ball rolling. You can ask AI to convert a large paragraph into dot points for better readability. And this is really handy for things like blogs where you might have just dumped everything out on the page and done a lot of paragraphs, but you need some of it to be broken up to make it easier to read. So you can pop that into ChatGPT and ask it to summarize it for you in dot points, and it will do that. It's fast and it's easy, but it's still your unique content. And finally, you can use AI to create catchy subject lines for emails, dynamic headlines for things like blogs, and even slogans for your brand. You can even ask it to come up with brand names if you're struggling to come up with a name for your business. Now, with all that in mind, you know what you can use something like ChatGPT for without asking it to create full-on pages of content. And that means that you can remain authentic, unique, and still stand out among the crowd. Even if it isn't your first time using something like ChatGPT, you may discover ways to use it that you didn't even know before and that make it easier and simpler to use. Let's start out by looking at the interface of ChatGPT and getting a lay of the land, so to speak, so that you aren't trying to navigate it in the dark. Here we have the main page, and this is the only page that you will use. It is pretty straightforward. So at the top left, you can click New Chat, and you can create a fresh new chat that doesn't contain any history from your previous chats. And your chat history will show up in this section here. You can scroll up and down depending on how many chats you've created. In the lower left here, you can choose to upgrade to the Plus version. You can change it from dark mode to light mode. You can check out the updates and any frequently asked questions, and you can log out of your account. Here in the middle, they're giving you some insight into examples of questions that you can ask it, its capabilities, and its limitations. So as you can see, you can ask questions such as, got any creative ideas for a 10-year-old's birthday? Explain quantum computing in simple terms. How do I make an HTTP request in JavaScript? Its capabilities are as follows. It can remember what the user said earlier in the conversation. It allows the user to provide follow-up corrections, and it's been trained to decline inappropriate requests. And its limitations. So ChatGPT may occasionally generate incorrect information, which is why I have reiterated a lot about making sure you are doing your own research and double checking everything that ChatGPT gives you. Another limitation is that it may occasionally produce harmful instructions or biased content, so you have to be really careful about that. And as I've said before, it has limited knowledge of the world and events after 2021. So those are definitely things to consider depending on the type of content that you're looking for. Now I'll walk you through how to use it and the best way of how to ask it questions. Just something to keep in mind though is that, as you've seen from the beginning, this is a basics course. So I will only be running through the most basic way to use ChatGPT, which in my opinion is the only way you need as a writer just starting up your business. There are more in-depth tutorials online specifically on this topic on how to use ChatGPT, so you can go watch those after this if you want a deeper look into it. But for now, you're just going to learn the fundamentals to get you started and get you going with using ChatGPT. Just before we jump into any examples of how to use ChatGPT, I wanted to quickly explain the differences between OpenAI and ChatGPT, which I know some people are confused by. So, just quickly, OpenAI tunes into the AI with a set of attributes, while ChatGPT is used as if you're interacting with a human, as if you are chatting with someone on the other side, hence ChatGPT. OpenAI is a lot more complex, so if you are just starting out, choose ChatGPT for a simpler experience. OpenAI is a much different format, and it's, as I said, a lot more complex. So ChatGPT is really all you need if you're starting out and you just want to keep things simple. And I know that it does sound ironic with the fact that ChatGPT is trying to say that you're interacting with a human on the other side, but it's just a reminder that you can be a lot more relaxed with how you approach the questions. Now I'm going to give you 3 examples of the most common and basic ways to start out using ChatGPT in your writing. First up, I'll show you what you can do to come up with headlines and content ideas for blogs. So the best way to use ChatGPT is to literally speak to it as if it is a human being. A lot of people make the mistake of limiting themselves by thinking too much about how they might structure a sentence. And that's the beauty of ChatGPT, is that you can speak to it in such a casual and relaxed way. Just imagine you're asking a friend a question. You usually don't have to think too much about how the sentence is structured. You just go for it and you don't think about it. You know what you're going to ask it, and you're not letting it limit you by thinking too hard about how you're going to structure it. For the example, let's say that you're starting up an SEO agency. You need some ideas for blog content and headlines for those blogs as well. One of the best tips to remember with using ChatGPT is that the more detailed the input is, the more qualitative their output will generally be. So the more details and context that you give ChatGPT, the better quality the content will be that it gives back. It's really all about giving that context and helping ChatGPT understand what this content is for, the perspective it's writing it from. All those sort of things will help produce better content. Back to the example, you're an SEO agency that needs ideas for blog content. So here's what you could say to ChatGPT to make sure that it gives you the best quality ideas. You're going to start out by saying, hey, hello, hi, anything like that. And I will get into why it's important to say things like hello, please, thank you in the next section. But as a quick glimpse, the nicer you are to ChatGPT, the better the content will be that it gives. This might sound a bit silly, but myself and several other people I know have tried this out and tested this. And if you are nice to it, it actually gives you things like tips, advice, extra little bits of information that it doesn't give if you aren't nice to it and aren't polite to it. So just throw those in. They won't take you any extra time, and you'll find that it will give you better, more well-rounded content ideas. So as you can see at the bottom here, I've typed in, hey, you are an SEO expert. So I'm telling ChatGPT that they're writing these ideas from the perspective of being an SEO expert. Please come up with 10 ideas for blogs that I can use for my SEO agency's website. I need these blogs to help me rank higher with my digital marketing agency, which is called Digito. So you're probably thinking, what's the point in letting it know the name of your business or telling it that you're an SEO expert? As I said, it's just all about giving it more of an insight and more context into what this content is for, where it's going. As a copywriter myself, that's always important to me to know a lot about the background of what the content I'm writing is for, where it's going, the audience, the perspective, the type of business, the brand, everything like that contributes to a better, more targeted, well-rounded content. So that's the idea behind this here, is giving ChatGPT that insight. So then we're just going to press enter. And as you can see straight away, ChatGPT is creating the ideas. So you can see just how fast it is. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. That could depend on your internet connection, or sometimes ChatGPT is a little slow if a lot of people are using it. But most of the time it's very, very fast. And you may have noticed on the left, it's instantly added this question to your chat history. And you can edit the name of this if you'd like. And each time you log into ChatGPT, all the history will still be here, and you can clear the conversation history if you'd like by clicking here. Let's take a look at what ChatGPT has provided. So it said, sure, I'd be happy to help. Here are 10 blog post ideas that you can use for your SEO agency website. So I won't go through all of them here, but just a few are 10 common SEO mistakes to avoid in 2023, how to optimize your website for voice search, what you need to know about Google's core web vitals update. So all of these are great blog ideas for your website. And there you go. If say you're doing a blog a week, you've now got 10 weeks worth of blog ideas that you don't even have to think about. And as you can see below those 10 ideas, it's given you a little bit of additional information. It said these blog post ideas can help you showcase your expertise and knowledge of the latest trends and best practices in SEO, while also providing valuable information and insights to your audience. By consistently publishing high-quality, informative content on your website, you can improve your search engine rankings and attract more traffic and leads to your digital marketing agency. Now, most times, if you're starting up your own SEO agency, you would already know this information. But this is just an example of what I was talking about, in that ChatGPT will give you this little bit of additional advice, information, if you are nice to it. And you never know, it could be something that you need to be reminded of, or just a little nudge in the right direction. It's just a nice little add-on that it provides. And if you were researching blog ideas for something that you're not too sure about, say if you're a beginner copywriter and you're trying to adapt yourself to different content, you search something up in ChatGPT and it will give you this little bit of additional information, and you can take that, research more about it. It's just really handy and helpful, and that's why it's important to be polite to ChatGPT and just speak to it as if it's your friend. The great thing about the way that ChatGPT has given you these blog ideas is that they've also given you them in the format of headlines. So you don't even now have to think about the headlines for these blogs, it's given it to you. But let's just say that you're not too happy with these headlines and you want to change them up a bit. So you want to make these a little funnier and more interesting. Let's ask ChatGPT to do just that. So I've gone ahead and said, thanks. Can you please make those headlines funnier, wittier, and more interesting? ChatGPT has come back with, of course, I can help with that. Here are the same 10 blog post ideas, but with a bit more humor and wit to make them more interesting and engaging. Again, I won't go through all of them, but a few are the top 10 SEO mistakes that will make you cry yourself to sleep and how to avoid them. Link building, the art of making friends and influencing algorithms. Why you should invest in SEO because PPC is so 2010. So as you can see, they've really changed things up here as compared to the previous ideas and headlines. And once again, it's given you those additional tips and suggestions. It said by adding a bit of humor and personality to your blog post titles, you can make them more memorable and shareable, which can help you attract more traffic and build your online reputation as an SEO expert. That is a great piece of advice, and I can pretty much guarantee that it wouldn't have given you that if you weren't polite to it. Just to show you what I mean by using things like please, thank you, and also giving it more information, I've done an example of doing the opposite of that. So I've just said, make 10 blog headlines for my SEO agency. I haven't been polite and I haven't given it context. So ChatGPT has produced what it considers more creative, funny, and attention-grabbing headlines. No tips, no advice, nothing. Now, of course, some people might just want that. They want things super quick and fast. They don't even want to go through the process of asking it a detailed question, and that's fine. But I think it's just more of an enriching experience, a more seamless experience, when it's given you that friendliness, that sort of camaraderie, and that feeling that you're speaking to a human. When it gives you that added advice and information and approaches you in a more human way. Again, I know that is a little ironic considering it is AI, but these are the type of things that we have to get used to and that are going to become our norm whether we like it or not. So to be able to experience something that's a little more human is always going to be more enjoyable than if it were to respond to you in only a robotic way. Let's now say that you're starting up a dog walking and dog sitting business, and you've been trying for ages to come up with a name, but you just can't think of a good name or one that you're happy with. You can ask ChatGPT to come up with those brand name ideas for you. This is an example of a time when you can get really niche and specific with how you ask the questions, and you can even have a little bit of fun with it. So let's start out with the first question. Hey, I've even added in a smiley face. I'm starting up a dog walking and dog sitting company. Can you please come up with 10 ideas for what I can call the company? Here ChatGPT has provided those 10 names, but let's say you want to make them a bit longer. I've gone ahead and said, thanks, can you please make those names longer? It's pretty straightforward. It's gone and giving you longer versions of the brand names that it gave before. But let's say you're still not happy with these. You're really looking for more unique names. Let's ask ChatGPT to do that. As you can see, the names that they've given here are a lot more unique and different than these ones, which sound a little generic. It's all very strange and interesting, but that's exactly what you asked for, avant-garde and unique, and that's what it's given you. Let's now ask it to make each name specifically 2 words each. So we've popped that in, and there you have it. It's given you names for your brand with exactly 2 words. It's given you exactly what you asked for. And with that, you can see just how versatile ChatGPT is. You can ask it to change up your content as many times as you like in as many different ways, and it will generally give you such different ideas that would be difficult to come up with on your own unless you want to take longer. So if you're wanting to get things instantly and do things fast, then this is really handy to use. The last example is for social content ideas. Let's now say you're an interior designer and you need more ideas for social media posts for your Instagram. Let's start off with this first question. Hey, I'm an interior designer and I need more ideas for what to post about on my Instagram. Can you give me 10 post ideas, please? As you can see, I haven't given it too much context. This is a very generalized question for any type of interior designer, but this is just to show you that it can give you really general ideas that you can then adapt to your brand. Or if you really want to get ChatGPT to work hard, you can give it all that context and it can then produce really specific ideas to what your brand is all about. So there are loads of ideas here. It's given you the idea for before and after shots of your latest project, a behind the scenes look at your design process. You could do a Q&A session with your followers on Instagram. It suggests to collaborate with other creatives such as artists or photographers to showcase their work in your design projects. So there is a lot for you to work from here. You can then even ask it to help you write social media captions for your Instagram posts, and it will even include emojis and hashtags. So I've added this question in here. Great, thanks. Can you please write a caption for a social media post encouraging my Instagram followers to go to my website to read my latest blog about how to nail modern interior design in your home? Please make the caption really interesting, a bit funny, and a bit mysterious to make my followers intrigued. So here I've given it a lot of information to help it produce more qualitative content. And here we go, they've given you emojis, hashtags. You could copy and paste this straight into your Instagram and then change it up a little, edit it to make it seem like your unique tone of voice. But it is really handy that they've already given you those emojis. You don't have to spend time scrolling through and choosing them. And the same with the hashtags. You can use those to start off with and then work from there and add in more hashtags as you like. And with that, now you know how to use AI, in particular ChatGPT, to come up with content ideas to help write your copy. Now you know the fundamentals of how to navigate ChatGPT and the secret to getting better results by asking the right questions. To finish off this spotlight section on AI, let's look at some of my top tips to really get you started and summarize a lot of the things that I've spoken about here. And these tips are really quick and easy. First, make sure you always verify that the content is accurate. Do additional research every time. Even ChatGPT tells you right on their front page, as you saw in the previous section, that its lack of knowledge is a big limitation. It says things like it may occasionally generate incorrect information and it hasn't been updated since 2021, so do not rely on it to give you accurate content or information. Tip 2, there are certain questions that you cannot ask ChatGPT, and they include the following. As this is quite a long list, just pause here and take a screenshot or write them down if you need. But basically, just don't do anything silly or morally questionable. Tip 3, and we spoke about this in the previous section, if you be nice to ChatGPT, so saying hello, please, and thank you, and speaking to it like it is a person, it seems to generate better content. It will give you extra tips and advice that you may not have thought about before. And tip 4, make sure you're doing your own research to find out the best keywords for your content before you put them into ChatGPT. ChatGPT is not able to give you relevant keywords because, as we said, its information is limited to 2021. So if you're wanting it to come up with keywords for, let's say, some blogs or a website landing page, it is not able to do that. You have to come up with the keywords before and then provide them to ChatGPT. Something to be really careful of with keywords and ChatGPT is that it tends to keyword stuff and duplicate content and duplicate the keywords. Keyword stuffing is pretty much what it sounds like. It's when the keyword or keywords are stuffed to the brim inside a piece of content. So it could be in almost every sentence, definitely in every paragraph. And you'll notice it because when you're reading something, you pick up on the same words over and over again, and it gets quite exhausting to read. It's not an enjoyable thing to read. And the thing about keyword stuffing is not only is it not nice for your audience to try and read, but Google's algorithm can detect this keyword stuffing and it will consider it as spam and it will then penalize your website. So it will not allow it to rank highly within the search pages based on the topics that people search for related to your content. And to show you an example of this, I've gone ahead and gone back to the example of an SEO agency, but this time I've asked it to write a full blog. And I've explained that I need the blog to be about why small businesses should use an SEO agency to help them boost their online presence. And I've asked it to include the keywords SEO agency for small business, and SEO agency near me. And if you have a read through this, you'll pretty much notice straight away, even just from glancing at it, that the words SEO agency have been included way too many times. They have stuffed this keyword everywhere. I haven't even been able to highlight all of them. There are just too many. And if you went and copy and pasted this straight into your website and tried to publish this, Google will not like it and they will penalize your website for it. So if you want to take this content, make sure that you are going through and you're editing and getting rid of all those unnecessary keywords that they've stuffed in there. A good tip is to only add your main keyword about 3 to 4 times and make sure that it's in the beginning and also at the end of your blog. This is also one of the big reasons why it's best not to rely on ChatGPT to produce whole paragraphs and pages of content. That's why I suggest to use it only for content ideas. Now you're covered on all the basics of writing with AI, in particular with ChatGPT. As I have already spoken about, this type of AI is changing all the time, but these core fundamentals will generally stay the same, especially the way that you ask it questions. Over time, I'm sure that they will improve the way that it produces content to make it more accurate, but even then, it will never produce your unique brand voice, which is why it's so important to always do your research after it gives you content. Edit it several times and make sure it has your unique flair to it. This is what is going to help you stand out from your competitors. At the end of the day, it will always be about working with AI and using it to your advantage, not working against it. You've made it to the end of the Copywriting Basics course. At the end of the day, the most important thing to remember is to trust yourself. With this Copywriting Basics course, you now have the best tools to write confidently and set yourself up easily and efficiently. Let's take a look at a quick summary of what you can now do thanks to this course. You now know how to start with your brand voice as your foundation. You now know how to adapt your writing to different styles. You now know how to conduct research to write with authority. And you now know the 5 secrets to write with ease and make conversions. And with the spotlight sections, you now know everything you need to get you started with landing pages. You know the 6 most common types and how to write them. And you also know the fundamentals of writing using AI, in particular ChatGPT. Take things step by step and use each module and spotlight section in this course as your guide. Take each step and adapt it to your content needs. Thanks for taking part in the Copywriting Basics course. Don't forget you can come back at any time and re-watch the modules and spotlight sections. Best of luck!